The CFL regular season is done. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers do wrap up that last home spot or first place, I guess, in the CFL's West Division. So they will host the West Final. Coming up this week, it is Toronto against Ottawa and the Saskatchewan Roughriders against the BC Lions. We are going to be covering this all throughout the week. And I appreciate you, Mini Moneymaker. But I think that we'll talk about these throughout the week. There wasn't a whole lot, I think, actionable from this week in the CFL. The one thing I want to talk about is some of the reaction around the Calgary Stampeders. And it is coming out today that the Stampeders are going to keep Dave Dickenson in place as coach and general manager. And I think that's a mistake. This is getting to the point of banging your head against the wall and then wondering why you have a headache. And I don't know. What message is this sending to the fans? What message is this sending to the team? I guess you do owe it to Dave to try to get himself out of this. And maybe he's saying I'm GM or nothing at all. We don't know what the back conversations are, but I don't understand this at all. I don't get this in any way, shape, or form. What is the argument for keeping Dave Dickenson on as general manager? Because I don't think, and this has been part of the reaction, and this was going to be the segment today before the Dave news came out, I don't get the reaction to this season from some Stamps fans that I'm seeing online in the slightest. A lot of, what have these coaches ever done? Why keep this guy? Why keep this guy? Why keep this guy? Look, you can maybe look at some of the little things coaching-wise with this team and see okay, well, this is where they missed this. This is where they missed that. This is da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But this is a roster construction thing. I don't think that if you got the absolute maximum, best case scenario, Madden got everyone to play to their overall ratings, whatever, I don't think this season looks a whole lot different than what it did. Quite frankly, I just don't think this team's good enough. I don't think, as currently constructed, this team is good enough. They did not get good enough quarterback play. They couldn't stop the run. And maybe that is where you can look at potential for a coaching failure, in that the pieces do not add up to the sum of the parts, I guess. I always screw that phrase up. But still, the team looked better defensively on paper than they actually did produce. And they couldn't stop a thing on the ground all season long. And that became a fairly glaring issue. And so if you want to look at the defensive game plan or whatever, but again, I just don't think the players played well enough, quite frankly. I don't think that, I don't think you got the boost from some of the offseason acquisitions that you had. I don't think that you got the play on the defensive line that you would have wanted or needed. And I think that you then had some rookie, LaBrosse on the outside, who all of a sudden had to play a bit of a bigger role. So again, I view this as a roster construction problem out in Calgary right now. We have seen Dave Dickenson be a very good coach. We have seen these guys have this success. They just haven't built a roster to have that success with. And so maybe you give Dave one more try at it, but yes, they made the playoffs last year. That is simply because Saskatchewan could not get out of their own way with their starting quarterback injured all of last year, and because Edmonton decided to wait until week 10 to make a quarterback change. It was not because of this grand whatever that Calgary had. They just happened to get in the playoffs because the league mandates that 6 teams get in the playoffs. It wasn't because of anything else they did. And so now, to run it back, I don't get it. Don't get it at all. I think Calgary is setting themselves up for another spot to have another disappointing year as the fan base fades and fades further away from this particular team. But more CFL talk to come as we get ready for the week ahead and get ready for the postseason